to the Motive for Life radio show. This is Robert Christensen. Thank you for joining me. And today's interview is with Janice Bussing, a life mastery coach and dream builder. And I've had just the best time with you. I hope you enjoyed this podcast today because I know I did. Bye. Today, I'm happy to have Janice Bussing with me today. She's a life mastery consultant, a dream builder life coach, certified in Life Mastery Institute. And I have the honor to speaking with her specifically as part of our mastermind group that we're working with today. And I'm so happy to have her with me on this podcast. Janice, how you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm super fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Well, super fantastic is a great starting point. We're just going to turn that into a much higher level after the time we get done.
Right?
Come on. I have to say that when I first met you, I was really blown away because of not only just of your energy, but just your point of view on life and where you are right now and how you're helping people. So can you just give us a little, history of what was it like and what's it like now for you? So I just want to get people understanding where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And again, thank you for having me.
Of course.
You know, what it was like, there was a time in my life when I had a really incredible career. I was a stylist. I was working with some of the top people in the US, lawyers and producers. And at the same exact time, my soul was screaming at me to do something else. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have that same feeling. And it just got to the point that I just started asking the question, what is it that I'm meant to do? And I was happily had a divine download to become a dream builder life coach and life mastery consultant. And, I did it at the age of 53. I changed my whole career at the age of 53.
Wow. Okay. So wait a second. Let me make sure I get two questions I have for you right here, right off the bat. Okay. Because immediately somebody's going to jump in and say, I'm too old to change my life. Right. Yeah. That's the first thing you obviously you'll hear. The second part I want to more bump into first before we get to that. When you had that aha moment or the lightning strike or the download, I said, what was it like before that made you feel disrupted inside to kind of bring that on, right? We don't just, there's a lot that happens before that, I tend to find. And so What was that like for you? What was the uneasy feeling like for you?
Well, as I said, I had a career and I'd been in it for 25 years and it was good. Mm-hmm. And how somebody told me good is the evil to great. And so in that time, while I was still shopping, because I was a wardrobe stylist, I had my own company, there was just this feeling inside of me that I knew there was something more out there for me to be doing.
I gotcha. So there was like this pull.
Yeah, it was a full on, like when I said my soul was screaming at me every day, it was, and at times it was excruciating. It was absolutely excruciating knowing that, yes, I could live this good life and continue on with it. And at the same time, knowing, like almost feeling like right on the other side of a veil is my real life. And that's what was causing me so much pain. And I know that's what happens with most of my clients. They're in that place of pain, knowing there's a life out there waiting for them. And that's what was happening to me. And the divine download actually came on January 31st, that's New Year's Eve day. No, December 31st, New Year's Eve day, where I just got this download of how many ghosts of regrets are going to surround my deathbed.
Wow. Okay. Wait. Okay. You keep blowing me away with these things. All right. Ghosts of regrets going to surround my deathbed. Okay. So that is quite the metaphor for someone to come into this realization that, okay, I'll either have to do something or I'm going to regret not taking that action.
Absolutely. And I want you to understand that I always had this feeling in me to be a life coach.
Yeah.
And again, I'd been in a career for 25 years. And I had this calling because I was obsessed with studying emotional intelligence, transformation. I loved all of that. And I just never really believed I could make the switch over, especially at 53 years old. And so that's what was stopping me. Not believing, even though I had done the studying, I'm in the work, it's taking that leap.
Right. Moving into that, as what Gay Hendricks says, your zone of genius, right?
Absolutely. The zone of genius. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're referring to a book called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, which I highly recommend to anybody who wants to know what it's like to push through what we
what I could consider a worthiness barriers. There's these upper limits that we have. And so Janice, we're in a phase of, I think, of our world's evolution right now, where folks like yourself are stepping into these leadership positions for others. Right. And that's a big deal. I'm in that same space myself. And when you are a coach for somebody, there's a lot of responsibility. You're really there as an advisor to help them make decisions, or help them at least make their own decisions. How do you engage your clients in that way? What do you do?
Well, it's interesting how you put that. I help them make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I first help them understand that they have a power in them bigger than any circumstance, situation, or condition outside of them. That's the first thing.
Okay.
I could sit there and say, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. None of that's going to make a difference if they are still running on limiting beliefs, paradigms, and lack of self-worth, as you had mentioned earlier. So as a coach, my job is to unveil to them their truth and authenticity. And that's by pointing out the limiting paradigms and sabotaging behaviors they've been doing up until this point. And it's like when we uncover that, then they have this huge awakening of the truth of who they are. And it's from that point of power within them, that they are making their decisions aligned with that infinite intelligence. So it's not just about them. It's about being in that oneness and that partnership of that infinite intelligence within them, because that's when you're making the right decisions. If you're not aligned with that, which happens with so many people, they just keep on making decisions based on that lack, scarcity, and fear, and the paradigms that have been created from the age of 5 on. And then it's just like a repeat.
Yeah. I'm with you. So let's go back to a second here. Why is that so important in the transformation of your client?
Why is tapping into the
that part of that point of power inside them that you're saying, okay, so there's an infinite intelligence inside you. There is a repository or an infinite flow of knowledge that's coming through you.
Yes.
Why? Why? Okay, I know it seems an obvious why, but most people don't make that connection, the actual why in their life. What does it show? What shows up as a result of that?
Well, what ends up showing up is that you, the client, you, Robert, you tap into your truth and authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Within that truth and authenticity is power, confidence, clarity, brilliance, talent, creativity.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not tapped into that, then you're only using maybe a quarter of your life force, your spiritual essence that is truly who you are. And why wouldn't you want to connect with that infinite intelligence that's kept the galaxy in perfect alignment? Why do you think you want to do it all on your own when you have this power, this oneness of spiritual intelligence, truth, magnificence to guide you in every single thought, in every single step, being in that divine flow and allowing.
But okay, so I'm with you there. So okay, so I love this, right? By the way, so what I'm trying to do is help people who day in, day out, Janice, they don't speak our language.
Yes.
I think that's a key here. Okay, so one of the things that we do at Motive for Life is really try to give them images, languages, and emotions that help them, internalize what you just said.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I'm on the outside listening, I'm going, well, I'm looking for a raise. I need to get 4 tires on my car, right?
Right.
Or I'm struggling with just in the career I am, and I cannot even remotely see how what Robert and Janice are talking about is going to help me make enough money as the next great, stylist for that matter, right? Let's say they want to go, right? They want to take that. That's where their passion is in stylish, right?
Exactly.
So connect those dots. Okay.
Okay. So then it just goes back to the beginning.
Okay.
Understanding that our thoughts create everything.
Bingo.
And the number one life tool I teach is notice what you're noticing.
Mm.
And with every single thought, and this is where people just need to get responsible for their thoughts. With every thought, you're either going to be in love or fear. Love is connected to that infinite power that I just spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is connected to the woundedness of your past, being in that victim mentality. And then understanding if your thoughts are creating everything, what are you thinking? I need to get this. I need to have this. How am I going to do this? You're in so much lack, scarcity, and fear. Again, whatever you focus on expands. So it's about backing up and starting to take responsibility that your thoughts create everything. This is quantum physics, like
Yes.
attract like.
Yes. I always said about when you take what you just said, well, how do I know that that's happened, that what my thoughts are? How do I know if I got bad thoughts? I said, look around.
Yes.
Take
Absolutely.
inventory of your life today. And that is the direct reflection. It is the mirror of your thinking is what is your life is today. So if you are in some state of financial fear, if you're in some state of financial lack, it's because your thinking is in that financial lack. So there's the representation. And so what you're suggesting here is that I got to take ownership first. I got to see what I'm thinking, right?
Absolutely, because our results don't lie. And all I want to say, whatever you're focusing on, if it's lack, look how powerful you are. Right?
Congratulations, right?
Yeah, exactly. You are a rock star and you are powerful. So what if you started getting more conscious with your thoughts, noticing what you're noticing, and focus on what you would love instead of what's right in front of you? Like I always say, that's conditioned thinking. Basing all your thoughts on all the conditions outside of you, of what you can have, what you do have, or who you can be. So it's about being conscious with your thought and know that you are connected to a power greater than all these conditions outside of you. And also, I know every single person that's listening to this has had a moment in time where they were connected to something powerful. So and true. Life was flowing through them, as them, and for them. Everything was lining up because they were focusing on what they would love. And then they, boom, get hijacked out by one thought. Oh, but what about, worry, lack, scarcity, fear, right? And that's what you talk about a lot also.
All the time. All the time. The self-sabotaging behavior that will throw up you and I participate in a very similar group. And I hear over and over and over, I just had a success. And now I've had, followed by 3 months of I can't get out of first gear.
Yeah.
Right. And so let's talk a little bit about the next portion of after you've worked with somebody to help them identify their thinking. Okay. So now they're starting to see the thoughts, or they're actually visualizing or being aware of those negative thoughts that are holding them back. They recognize that this current situation that they're in today is not acceptable. I want to change. Right. So the clients that come to you say, hey, whatever's current right now is not good. I want to change it. I want to move it to the next level. And so if I, kind of sum up, everything I know about you, you are a dream builder, right? This is what the key fundamental is. What's my dream? And I will help you manifest that and turn it into your life. That's part of my coaching practice. So after they've identified that, they told you, here's my dream. Where do you take them next?
I work with a proven success system. It's a 10 principle dream builder program that is so powerful. And it's a step-by-step system. So what it's doing is everybody has a dream. And I have people come to me and go, I don't have a dream. And I'm like, yes, you do. Everything you're not happy about, you can create something that you would love. And there's your dream, right?
Fantastic.
Exactly. And so what they do when they come and work with me, I work with the success program and life tools to build a new foundation of who they are and their truth and authenticity aligned with that power. And then step by step, we start taking action into their dream. This 10 principle program is profound. It is life-changing day one. And it's easy and it's fun. It doesn't have to be so, that push energy. And that's what the problem is so many people are in a push energy.
Okay. So that's the first time I've heard that. Janice, so tell me what a push energy means.
So a push energy is almost the performance energy.
Oh, I gotcha.
Scarcity, lack, and fear are going to push you. You want to create a vision a dream. So it is so powerful. It's actually pulling you in that direction. So you're either going to be in a performance objective, I need to, I should to, I have to, or you're going to start thinking about life. And this is the number one thing, and it's called spiritual decision making. What would I love? Creating your dream through what would I love? And then that's going to pull you in the direction, and you stay in that centeredness of that power within you. And you're actually stepping into mastery objective, which all we want to do is be in a place of mastery, mastering our thoughts, mastering our actions, and then keeping our eye on the ball, I say, which is your dream. Always advancing confidently in that direction. Yeah, it's powerful, because when we're in fear, we're in push energy.
That's a great analogy. So I'm glad we're digging deep into this stuff, because it's, I consider, let's make it personal. I'll make it on my own, right? So I talk about when I'm in push mode versus being, I think flow, right? When we drop into flow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'd much rather be floating down a nice river towards my dreams and where I want to go, as opposed to trying to push something up into something or push it like that. I think for me, as I age, I just don't have that much energy to push. I tend to burn out, right? Then I use coffee to boost me up, and then, so
throw some candy in there.
Oh my gosh, please, just don't even start. Right. That's up. Hey, side note here. I gave up coffee 3 months ago. I gave up all caffeine.
Wow. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, that was tough. And it wasn't so much the headaches and the detox that happened the first week and stuff. But what I found, and this is something I didn't know would happen. Talk about push energy. So this is right in line with that. I've been using coffee to jumpstart me, my nervous system. Basically, what it do, right? I've had this nervous system that gets used to having a certain, jumpstart, or however we say. Influence on my body every time. And so I've conditioned myself to expect it. So for the next month to 2 months after I quit of all caffeine, my body was expecting me to get up at a certain time to go get something. I had all these routines that had been built in. And so that was the hardest part. It was the habitual, I need energy, I need pieces to go good. And so I had to let the full 3 months, full 90 days go. But here's what happened, Janice. I want to share this with you because I thought it was really interesting from an observation point of view. My energy now, I like yesterday, I went 14 hours working straight. I literally, and I was not done at the end of that. I was ready to, I got to stop, right? So that's not every day, but I'll tell you, when I took the caffeine out of my system, this was the physical benefits that happen as a result of this stuff has been phenomenal. And it's not for, I think my nervous system is a little bit more addictive than most. So I think that I have a little bit more challenge there. But have you had any kind of experiences like that at all?
Well, this is what I want to tap into right there.
Okay.
Which is really important, Robert. Think about it. You're talking about having a habit of getting your coffee, making your coffee, waking up at a certain time. Mm-hmm. Think about the habit of your thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing. Yeah. So you've created that neural pathway in your brain up until now that this is what you do every single day. Your body's expecting this. Well, your thoughts are doing the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so it's really just about going to the place of, again, what would you love? Who would you love to be? How would you love to function in life? And it's like, I know exactly what you're talking about because I have gone through that same exact thing when it comes to just changing my spiritual routines in the morning. Yep. I have my routine that maybe it wasn't my best routine in the morning. And then it's like, okay, but the minute I got in, and it took a while, I stepped into a new neural pathway. And then everything opened up for me. Like, even as I said, my energy was even better. Like you said, your energy is better. So it's understanding that we have so many habitual actions and thoughts. And I love it. There's this in the 11 universal laws, that one of my favorite laws is the law of sacrifice. It's giving up the lesser for the greater.
That's we could spend a whole day talking about that one. All right.
So my favorite one.
Let's be clear on that, right?
Talking about. Yeah, it's like you gave up a lesser, even though you had so much investment into your coffee. And let me tell you, I'm a cappuccino drinker. I love them and I'm invested in them.
Here's the story. This gets even better. Okay. I'm online on this one Zoom call and I see behind this guy, this really nice Breville machine. I go, hey, what's that? And he goes, oh, I've had it for 13 years. Like, hey, you've had a Breville machine for 13 years? He said, yeah, it's a tank. It doesn't break like that. So of course I go buy it, right? Of course. Because I cannot do without, the high-end coffee stuff at my house, right? So I'm totally.
Exactly.
So I get it. And of course, it's fantastic and I love it and stuff like that. And then I have this moment of crisis about, Robert, what are you doing? You're going to be quitting coffee like this. So I, ended up giving it to my son for a Christmas present. Right. But I want to tell you, you're absolutely right. The sacrifice that's necessary for the greater good is such a higher thing. So let's go right back to that, noticing our thoughts, right? So you're right back there with your clients, telling them and teaching them that, hey, we're going to have to leave the old. This is classic Joseph Campbell stuff, right? This is the Thousand Faces, right? That the whole thing, the hero's journey. But I did have a question for you though. I want to pivot a little bit.
Okay.
Do you work with more women and men, or mostly women, or all women, or all men? What's that work for you?
Yeah, I work with both, and most of them are women.
Okay.
Yes, most of them are women. I do have a few men clients,
Mm-hmm.
and I love them. I just love how they come in and just are able to really release a belief system in them. And that's what I wanted to just tap back into what we were speaking about before. It's like so many of us have habitual thoughts and actions that we can't even see ourselves. That's why you actually have a coach. So a coach can actually go, wait, what are you doing? Wait, what are you saying?
That's right.
So often, like they say, you can't see the picture when you're in the frame. You can't
I call it,
see your blind spots.
I say no one knows you're a pickle. The person who's a pickle never knows they're a pickle because they're inside the jar.
Exactly.
Right? There's a label on the outside of the jar that says I'm a pickle, but I can't see it, right?
Exactly. So it's really the power. People go, oh, I'll go, read books and I'll go listen to this and that. And I go, yes, and that's all great. And that's just about learning curriculum, though.
Right.
It's about having somebody come in and just shine the light of awareness on, look at your thoughts, look at your actions, look at that energy, because you can be saying something and I'll catch this energy and go, oh, let's dig a little deeper.
Wait. Let's go back a section, right? That's exactly right. So who are some of your influences? So talk to me about when you started absorbing this. There's a lot of influences. We all have different ones. Tell me, who are your first influential influencers in your life in this area?
I would have to say Wayne Dyer was, Bob Proctor, Mary Morrissey is my mentor.
Oh, really? Wonderful.
Absolutely. I love the Course of Miracles is a deep belief in me. So it's so Joe Dispenza. I mean, there's so many.
There's so many now. There's so many to pick from right today, and they're really good. I mean, they're excellent. So let's touch into a little bit more of the concept of clearing. Okay, just so I give it vernacular of everybody who that understands what the term clearing means. Clearing is we all carry wounds, right? It's the nature of it. Some people call it karma. It's handed down maybe through generations. There's an ancient saying that says the sins of the father are carried by the son. That kind of stuff, right? That whole thing. And I think often a lot of us who come into this practice have more wounds than we dare to carry because we want to get better, right? Doctor, heal thyself. And so when we call it clearing and clearing practices, are there any specific ones that you do that you find very useful, or that you would go, like your go-tos with clients on how do they start the clearing practices for themselves to heal wounds?
Yeah. And the first one is really notice what you're noticing. Are you in fear or are you in love? When you're in fear, you're in a place of woundedness. And it's like tapping back into that moment and going, wow, when did I feel this before? Because it's not actually about what's happening in front of you. Whatever's happening in front of you is not what's making you react. It's tapping back into every single time you felt that, all the way back to the age of 5. So it's really getting the clarity of what is bringing on this reaction. Because when you're in fear, you react.
Yep.
when you are in love, in that alignment of that power within you, you're able to respond. So it's being conscious of, what am I thinking? Am I in that woundedness of that child who's feeling rejected right now, who felt rejected at 5 years old?
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually have this life tool I created. It's called the Up Until Now sheet. You want to actually, when you're noticing what you're noticing, and then you stop yourself and you go, up until now, I felt that limiting belief. And then you want to just get curious. Where did I feel this when I was younger? What decisions did I make? What limiting decisions did I make when I was younger that I'm tapping into right this second? And then you could actually go back to that little child and go, well, that makes total sense that I'm reacting this way. And it almost like right then and there starts diffusing it. And, this is one huge thing. This is so huge for people to stop judging themselves when they're in reaction. When they're in reaction, they're actually in a place of suffering. They're triggered. They're in a woundedness of their little child. So why would they want to beat their child up some more? This is the time of self-compassion, the number one tool to transformation.
You know what you
Across the board.
You know what you just did for me right now, and I want to thank you for that. Is that I think about a relationship I have with one of my friends, and it's gone south, mostly because of some conflicts we had some time ago, but he was hanging on to him, and I never knew I had it. I never knew what I did. And so he was able to tell me all these things that he'd been saving up, and it was really like a volcano that came out, right? Okay. And, and so it was fine, and that's, I can be sometimes a big personality. And so as a result of that, I bump into people, right? Okay. So, but what it does for me is that, I had my, where's my part, right? So I was able to identify my part, okay, and own that. But more importantly, there was a big piece with him that was really saying, hey, I'm hurt, I'm wounded, but it's really that manifestation coming out of of what you just said. But more importantly here, what it does is my compassion for him in that state, as opposed to anger towards him in that state. I think that's the key. It's key right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the key. And I call it the power of the pause. Just pause when you're in that situation. Knowing when somebody's triggered, you might have had the action, which of course you had no intention to ever hurt them. You have no malice in your heart to hurt them.
Right.
And sometimes we trigger people.
We do.
And
it's
triggered.
human.
Yeah. And they're triggered into the woundness of their child. And if you could actually look at it, almost take that 60,000 foot view and look down on it and go, oh, I see what's going on. Wow, I get it. And you're able to have that compassion. I love this one quote. It's my favorite quote by Rumi. Out beyond all right doings and wrongdoings, there is a field, and I will meet you there.
That's wonderful. Love that.
Isn't it beautiful? So it's like,
love that.
Meeting the people, your wife, your spouses, your friends, your family, your siblings, your team members, when people are triggered, and almost taking them out of the situation and remembering back when they were in their perfection before they started, trying to figure out how to be perfect, to be loved or seen or valued, and just go meet them out in the field.
There's a great, yes, and yes. Okay. So let's make sure we talk about that. Okay. It's number one. All right. There's so many things. My list keeps getting longer and longer as I talk to you. Okay. So what are you doing? Kind of stretch yourself, you personally, spiritually. What are you doing today that you're exploring? You're out of I don't want to call it the fringes, but going deeper, because as you just can't stop. You and I both know, once you start exercising your soul this way, it is up until my transition into the next form of whatever I'm going to be, I will still be working on my spiritual growth, right? There's no there, right? So what are you doing today to continue to deepen that work?
So what we call it is being on our green growing edge at all times.
Okay. All right.
And so I'll tell you what I do.
Okay.
If it has to do with my spirituality, in my relationships, in my work, the minute I feel any fear in what I might be doing, I step through it. So fear comes up as information that I am stepping out of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So if it's speaking, I mean, I haven't been speaking this last year because of situations, of course, but it's like putting myself out there. Where is it uncomfortable for me to step into? Like, I will look for uncomfortableness and then I will step through it, because fear is part of dream building. It's in the 10 principles. You want to befriend your fear. Say hello to the little gremlins that come out and nip at your ankles. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah, they're there. They're going to be there. You want them there because that's telling you you're expanding, you're growing, you're moving. And see, that's what happens to most people. The minute they hit the fear, they're like, oh, no. Because these little wounded kids in us say, let's just stay safe. Let's just stay small. Don't shine your light brightly. So if it's going out and wanting to speak in front of people, be on virtual events, put myself on live Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of that makes my stomach get a little squirrely. I'm like, doing it.
I know. Absolutely. So in that space, okay. So spiritually, are you taking any kind of what I call journeys on your own? I mean, that really push you in those things like that?
Every day.
Okay. So tell me about them.
Every day. So there is nothing more important than my alignment with the God within me.
Okay.
Nothing. And so it is making sure that I make that time every single day, connecting with that. I have gone to workshops to deepen that. I have had clearings to deepen that. I will do everything in my power to deepen that alignment with the God within me. Because it's from that point of power within me, I call it spiritual euphoria. I'm able to live in a place of spiritual euphoria. And as I mentioned, I think on one of the workshops I did with in our group, it's like understanding the 4 levels of awareness is,
yes.
And I want it to be as me. I want to be in that level of awareness that it doesn't matter anything that's going on outside of me, that I am so aligned with that spiritual beingness of the truth of who I am in my authenticity. And every single person out there has this ability. It's not just for this person, that person.
That's correct.
Every single person. And I call it a spiritual workout. You buy certain foods to feed a healthy body. You go and work out your body to be strong. Why wouldn't you make your spiritual workout and alignment the most important thing? I have a program on my website called the ABCs of Alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting piece that you brought up here. I want to go back to it. That's the 4 levels of awareness that you discussed. And you brought that up as part of a workshop that you were doing with us, which really, it was the one that stopped me the most, because I've heard it before, but I don't think I'd heard it the way that you presented it, because it was articulated nicely. Would you go through the 4 levels so that everybody understands what those are?
So the different levels of awareness that we can go through at all times, and we're always moving through them. The first level is to me. That's that victim place. And again, we're always one thought away from victim mentality. Think about it. It's either going to be to me, or I'm going to have a different level of awareness. And the next level of awareness is by me. And this is really important, because we can look at the law of attraction, and we can think about what we'd really love to have and bring to us. But if we're holding on super tightly, thinking it's by me, I have to do it. We're in a finite world. It's very small. We're only working in what we know up until now, from our history up until now. So you think about it, if it's by me, there's no God, there's no infinite intelligence there to help you.
That's exactly right. So if we go back
and what would you love? To
the first one. So it says to me. So let me make it real. If I'm walking outside and I end up stepping in something that I don't like, okay. Okay. I would take the position of somebody who had a dog, and they did that, and they did it specifically to leave it so that I would go step in it, and that happened to me. Is that correct? All right. I literally stepped in a
Wow,
pile
that's
of
a
dog poop.
that's a lot of thinking going on there.
I know it really is. Okay. Believe me, this stuff goes through my mind, right? So I entered into the Robert Christensen head when I was not awake, right? Back in the days. Okay. So the next thing is that the next level up would be by me. I was stupid and I stepped in the dog poop.
Well, okay, we're gonna pause.
Yeah. So I want to make it real. Okay. I want to get it.
Right. Okay. So let's no. I'm gonna. So let me switch. Let me explain to you these 4 levels of awareness. Okay.
You got it.
So let's do this to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can go out in your day and go, oh God, the lines are so long at the post office. Oh my gosh, why is everybody taking so long at the bank? And why isn't anything working out for me today?
Great.
That's allowing life to happen to me.
I got you. Okay, all right. To
Victim
me.
mentality. So it's to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so by me is then when you're in that push energy, you're forcing things, holding on to things so tight because you think you're the only one can do it.
That you're in control.
You're in that, total control in that finite world. This is really important. When you're in the finite world, I, okay? And then what we want to be is in the infinite world, where we actually then step into through me, aligned with that power within you, and you are focused on everything is always working out for me. I'm so happy and grateful that the lines are always so short at the bank and the people are so kind to me. And I am so powerful in every single thing I do and bring massive value to every single thing I touch. Oh, the divine.
Why is that through me though? So help me understand why that is through me.
Well, think about it. It's because the infinite is working through you. So you are
I'm an instrument.
Attracting, because we are all vibration. We are all energy. If it's happening through you, the divine is happening through you. Think of the vibration that is in your body. You become the magnet to everything that is abundantly yours out there just through thought.
So through my thinking, I have actions, right? So my thinking drive my actions. So my thinking of that I am.
I'm going to back you up, pause. I'm going to back you up to the law of cause and effect.
Okay.
We have a thought.
Yep.
Our thoughts cause our feelings.
Mm-hmm.
When we go into our feelings, we go into a feeling state. We generate a state of energy inside of us because of our thought.
Right.
From that place of feeling, we go into action. So that vibration is actually taken into the action and creates the result.
Got it. Okay.
So think about it. Right? So think if you have a thought, everything works out for me all day long. I love how everything lines up for me.
Mm-hmm.
It feels so good to be aligned with the divine. I'm so grateful for this opportunity in front of me. And then you go into action into anything you do. What do you think you're going to attract?
That's fantastic. So I appreciate you breaking it down. And again, back to the point of this show is to break it down. Okay, to get people to understand that that what you and I practice every day in our lives, and we teach our clients and stuff like that. For the people who are just starting off on this journey, they're trying to find their self-worth. They're trying to find their belief system. They know that there's a dream that they want to live. They want to find what is truly a divine force within inside them. They know that there's a spiritual guiding that's going on with them. And so the through me piece, thank you for taking the time to break that down. Yeah. Okay. What's the last one?
And the last one is as me. And that's when it's the highest level of oneness with the infinite intelligence and spirit. And you can go back and forth through me and as me all the time. I do it all the time. And again, it's conscious thought, conscious connection.
So give me an idea what when you're in the as me state, what is that? This is kind of like describing, what it's like to jump out of an airplane if you've never jumped out of an airplane before, right? So how do you describe that for somebody? Well, tell me, how would you do?
Yes. So I call it a spiritual euphoria. So it's being in, and I read this in a book. They were talking about it as if you were holding a rose in front of you. And it's a white rose. It's breathtaking. It's just perfection. And the scent and aroma of it is intoxicating. Okay. And you just go into this place of euphoria. calmness, peace, alignment. And then you take the rose away and you live in that intoxication, that alignment, that euphoria, without it being based on anything outside of you.
Mm. Does that make sense? Oh yeah, no, it totally does. So there are multiple paths to that mountain, right? That we all know, right? There's so many practices to help you get closer and closer to the ASME state. And it's a very virtuous place, right? It's there's no getting there, right? As a total all-in awareness. Because you and I, we live in the physical world. And the physical world is filled with humans, and humans run into, like I said, bump into each other, like I bump into people.
Yeah.
And I just find this fascinating. So thank you so very much for breaking that down. I think that the way that you break that down, I think it's one of your big superpowers, by the way, because
thank you.
Well, it really is. It's because you have such energy. But tying it back to practical life problems, practical life situations about how do I take my problem in life and attach it to your solution, I think is one of your big skills. And that's why I wanted you on this podcast, because I think that you have this unique ability to connect with people. And I think also we have a big overlap in our practices and our belief systems around worthiness. That seems very, very critical.
And I loved how you brought that up. I loved how you brought that up when we had our group. And this is what I believe. We don't lack worthiness. We've just stepped out of alignment of it. We don't lack confidence. We've just stepped out of alignment of it.
So getting back into alignmentness.
Yeah, it's like our woundedness has taken it out of us. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to your thoughts. And really, it goes back to really it was so clear to me when I went, wait, at every time I'm either in love or fear. So I always question myself, am I in fear about something? Am I in fear about something? And they call it having a miracle, going right from fear back into love. And sometimes it can be, and this is what I'd like to tell people, fear and being out of alignment is usually based, you're stuck in the past or you're in fear of the future, of the unknown. And just by breath, just by taking a breath, 5 seconds in, hold it, and then 7 seconds out, as if you're blowing through a straw, it brings you back down into the present moment. And that's where you can actually step back into that place of alignment. And as I said, God's hand is not in the past and not in the future. It is only in the present moment.
The point of power is right in the present.
Yes.
It's absolutely the case. Well, Janice, I want to say thank you so very much for taking the time to be with us on this podcast. I really, really am grateful for you being here. Thank you so much for being here.
I have loved every single second of it. I was so thrilled when you asked me. I was like, oh, good. Let's talk about this stuff and help people out there, because that is my passion and purpose in life, is to really just help people align with that truth of who they are and them, and create an extraordinary life, because that's when I believe we can all change the world.
So can you do me a favor and let everybody know, how do they get a hold of you?
So you can get a hold of me through my website, which is Life Mastery 24/7. I have extraordinary digital programs on there that are life-changing. Mm-hmm. And then I also have a vision workshop that's going to be coming up this coming weekend on Saturday. So I'm so happy. It's complimentary. Please come join me. I promise you will step into your dreams on a whole new level like you never have before, and really tap into some life tools that will be able to help you navigate through this physical world we live in, even though we're spiritual beings.
That's fantastic. I'm so happy about that. And for everybody out there, Janice is also an amazing person. She's a big light in people's life. And I highly recommend that you reach out to her on her website, get in contact with her. Okay. Thank you for joining us, Janice. To say this is Robert Christensen with Motive for Life. Thank you for joining us. That's the end of our podcast. Have a good day. Bye. This has been a Motive for Life Productions, all rights reserved.